Greetings, Earthlings. Today I want to talk about the word awake and in the context of how people use it to describe like conscious awareness or awakening within the dream of reality or becoming lucid within the dream. And that term never really resonated with me until very recently. I always kind of just dismissed it as like an ego hierarchy thing. Like I'm awake and they're so asleep, like as a judgment, like as a term of judgment. But how I'm interpreting it right now, it's not really judgment. It is what it is. If someone's awake or asleep, everyone's on on different journeys. And I feel like in the depths of my being right now, this sense of awakening. And I'm not saying I'm fully awake or I'm like enlightened or anything like that, but I know I'm far more awake and aware than I was even a few months ago. And it's a very, very profound feeling. It's not just an intellectual knowing or understanding, but it's a feeling. And that's when you know something is true. So it's not a judgment thing. It is what it is. And I liken it to a situation, especially when you're a kid, you face this. You have a house full of people or relatives, and in the morning, everyone's sleeping in the same house. In the morning, people wake up at different times, and if you're the first person who's awake, you're up, you're by yourself when you're awake. It might be the wee hours of the morning, 6 or 7 a.m., something like that. And you don't go around stomping around, waking people up. You don't go to everyone's bed and say, "Hey, wake up! Why aren't you up yet?" You don't do that, You just allow people to wake up on their own timeline because everyone will wake up inevitably. And the same applies to waking up in terms of conscious awareness and understanding. You don't stand over people, shaking them out of their sleep. It's ridiculous, it's offensive, and it's impeding upon other people's freedom, and it's impeding upon other people's journeys. And when you do that to someone, like if you go up to someone who's sleeping and scream at them to wake up, they're just going to roll over and say, "Get out of here," and then go back to sleep, and that's what happens when all these people are like, "Wake up, sheep! Why don't you understand this?" and all things like that. That's essentially what it's doing. It's just annoying people, and it's not going to do anything for them. You have to allow everyone to live based upon their own cycles and their own timeline. Everyone's on a different journey. And if you're awake, don't impede upon that journey. Don't be an agitator. Don't be an annoyance to others. Don't scream at people to wake up. And if you're doing that, you're probably not as awake as you think. You're probably caught in some ego version of I'm better than other people. And if you have that mentality, you're not better than anyone. We're all just unique. We're on different paths. So that term awake, though, it's the perfect term because it's really like a process of becoming lucid within the dream or like awakening out of a dream. Because as you become more consciously aware of yourself and the world within you and the world around you, you get to this understanding like the way you were living was almost like a sleep-like trance. It feels like a trance from the perspective that you have now. And that's why people say it's like waking up. They're like, I lived my whole life in that trance. You're just basically a slave to patterns and habits, and there's no mindfulness involved. So you just do things without questioning everything. You follow the orders of society and what other people tell you, and you just put your head down and you go through life in sleepwalking mode. But once you gain this conscious understanding of self and reality and all of that, you become more conscious, aware, awake, more lucid. And that's why it's the perfect term. And I'm really feeling that right now. But with me, it's been a really gradual process of awakening. And like I said before, I'm not saying I'm fully awake or anything, but I just know I'm more awake than I was before. And it's been really gradual. Like, some people have like that one moment in their life where they completely shift. And for me, it's been a long process, and I've really enjoyed the journey, from reading books to meditating to traveling to ayahuasca to all of these yogic exercises, breathing meditations, everything I've been doing, mindfulness practices. All of those are gradually making me more and more aware by the day. So it's not like one day you wake up and you wake up. It really is a gradual process, and you don't know if you're fully awake or not, because who am I to say that I'm fully awake? I'm always becoming more and more awake and consciously aware. But it's good to know that you're more conscious, more aware, more awake, and I keep using those terms interchangeably because they're very similar. I'm more awake than I was yesterday. So reality is a trip. And you get that sense of awakening when your perspective expands and expands and expands, and you're able to see the boxes that you were trapped in before. You know, you're able to expand beyond that and then look back and be like, wow, I was in that box. My whole sense of reality was in that little box, and now it's becoming more and more expanded. And soon I'm going to be looking at where I am now from the same perspective. So yeah, it's all a process, it's all a journey, it's all a game. You know, awakening is becoming lucid within the dream. Because this reality is some sort of dream or simulation or video game. That's where the evidence points, and that's what I've always felt since I was a little kid. So it's a process of becoming lucid within the dream instead of just sleepwalking through life. Yeah, so that's all I got. Alright, peace, much love, stay lucid, one love, baby.